Hi, good afternoon, Dr. Vikram, and welcome to the Voice of Stalwarts podcast session. Thank you so much for joining
Thank you
us
so
today.
much.
I would like to give a little intro of yours and whatever I best I know about you, as you have been in the industry from almost 20 years, 2 decades, and as a seasoned psychotherapist and a counselor. And you work with corporates as well as individuals and helping them through coaching, therapy, and counseling and training and the areas like soft skill, leadership, and mental health and mental well-being. Yeah, and I would say these are the topics or these are the subject which is the need of an hour and which is the most painful. Yeah, so I would like to start with the discussion, starting with the topic that you must have heard a famous saying called "People are hired for skills, but they are fired for their will." Why it
Right,
is
sir.
still so prevalent? Why it is still a pain for many organizations or many? It's all about all the organizations who are having the same issue. So I would like to know this from you.
Well, this is very true that people are hired for skills because this is what HR is focusing upon, and this is what is a company require. We need skillful people. But a hard skill or a skill can definitely open the door for you. But it is the soft skill, it's your attitude, it's the whole your behavior that keeps the door open. Rather, one can be hired because they meet the basic need qualifications, technical or professional qualifications. But when it comes to promotions, opportunities, function, then you need to have some good soft skills in order to function. And it is very painful for an organization to take somebody through the hiring process, through the
Mhm.
training process, then helping them to be a part of the system, and then
Mhm.
realize that because of their attitudes or behaviors, they are not able to work with the person any further. So this is
Mhm.
really painful area to lose talented people because of lack of the skills.
Right. What do you feel, Dr. Vikram? Is it a trainable area? Because when we speak to a lot of leaders, and somehow this is a big pain, and some are flexible to work upon and develop the people, and some are not ready to accept these kind of resources. What do you feel? And as per your experience with a lot of corporates and companies you're working.
I would say it's 100% teachable, trainable area. Just
Mm.
like any other skills, even soft skills can be taught. Even the
Mm.
leadership skills can be taught. Even your behavior and attitudes, they can be mentored. They can be coached. And if there are extreme cases with behavioral issues, so there's a reason behind every behavior. Behind every priority and choices, there are reasons behind it. The behavior which is not fitting for the corporate or for a work setting, workplace, it is just an expression of a deeper pain or deeper problem, or
Mm.
maybe a belief system which is not very, very helpful. So, in my experience and practice, I would say yes, 100%. This is surely teachable and trainable, but surely it's a matter of patience and process.
Right. But what do you feel? What is the root cause of this, the will problem, which places are facing today, which is becoming a roadblock? What is the root cause behind that?
I think so, sir. See, India as a country, when it comes to corporate work culture, has evolved like in all these decades. There was a time there was hardly any corporates in our country. Then
Mm.
there came a time that corporates were entering in. The Indian market was filling in with the big of the corporates, and the manpower was
Mm.
needed. So the initial
Mm.
requirement was that the person has to have a degree, maybe a
Mm.
graduation or something else. Then they realized the degree is not enough. We may have some technical requirement as well. Then they said, okay,
Mm.
we need a qualification and maybe a technical qualification also along with is helpful. Then
Mm.
going forward, they realized this is good, but as the global standards are increasing and India is entering into global market and all, then they said, okay, we need the qualification, we need the technical aspect, we need now leadership aspect as well.
Mm.
So then the leadership trainings and all those programs and they came into the corporate structure. Then they realized that even that is required, but mental health is becoming a concern. Because
Mm.
if an employee is healthy, if a team dynamics are healthy, only then they can perform better. So then we realized that we've been hearing, okay, mental health programs, stress management, this and that, anger management, behavioral issues, and all sort of training that started to mushroom. Now it's a progress. There are companies who are investing into soft skills, mental health. Then we have employee assistance programs like where they have a visiting counselor or a training facility made available where the employees can be benefited by those benefits. Many companies I know, they are putting a structure and system that if their employees are fine at the family front, at a personal front, they will perform better. So I think as a corporate industry in our country, we are gradually going, but I fear it's not fast enough
Mm.
because the speed that is needed, it's very lagging.
Mm.
So many companies are surely on board and they're really focusing a lot on this, but there are many of other players who still still need to come on board about the need of focusing on these programs and having such kind of atmosphere built in their companies and all. Yeah.
Right. I really like that you touch a very important topic here, the employee well-being and the performance, right? The family
Yeah.
well-being of an employee and their performance and the happiness at a workplace. Yeah. How your training programs have helped the organization and individual. If you could like to share some scenarios where of this has really helped thriving the performance of the entire team.
Yes, I'll share about that, but let me share a specific observation. I found that the fast people, the smart people, the intelligent people have struggled more in this aspect than the simple fellows. This is kind of weird. Like a smart person should not struggle, but it is the smart who struggle because that person is juggling with a lot of things. He has a lot of priorities and she has to attend to many things. So she wants to balance each and everything. And they have greater capacity, but it comes at a toll of mental health, trying to balance everything. And I remember in one of the company, I was doing a training program on emotional intelligence. And I was introduced to one of the employee and the senior manager said that she is a wonderful team player we have, but something is wrong with her. Something is not right. We don't know what it is. She's not comfortable sharing with us, but there are times she is zoned out. There are times we see there is a big difference the way she performs. At times we feel it's the same person or it is a different person. So the senior manager said that, can you talk to her? So I happened to speak to her and realized that the girl was having big time family issues running back home with her parents and her sibling. Now that was such a pressure that she was not able to focus on the work. So it was not an issue of her skill, but she was not able to balance the challenges at home along with the work. So able to bring a word of counsel or maybe able to listen empathetically to the problem or maybe bring an encouragement or in some cases some sort of therapy work may be required. It can greatly enhance the performance of anybody. Yeah.
So rightly said, but still I would say that the openness to work on the will issue is a challenge in the corporates and companies whereof the leaders they feel it
Right,
is
sir.
a very long process.
It is a long
They
process.
are majority of them are out during the interview process, and some of them are being hired, and then in the first 3 months they feel that the organization they're not the right fit. This right fit is a big concern for the organization. Now I completely understand and agree that both side, employer and employee, both side need to evolve and improve. Yeah, it is not the mistake
Yes.
of one side. The workplace cultures are changing, the way of working is changing, right? So one cannot be worked or looked at in a traditional way. What do you feel in this thing that how can we improve that?
I think this is really important what you're highlighting that the improvements have to be done or efforts have to be done on the both sides because
Mm.
an employee who's appearing for a job or a work commitment is surely looking forward for a good culture, career
Mm.
opportunity. And so is an employer looking for a good fit for the work required. And companies even open about if the person can do well, grow well, maybe promote him or her and take them forward in the leadership ladder. So
Mm.
I would say a combination of the employee, HR, and the team lead or the manager. They have to work as a team to see what they have hired, what for they have hired, and what are the challenges they are facing. Because at times there's a lot of gap between the three parties about the expectations. In addition to this, I would say surely there will be a room for a person to grow about their behavior and the will and the attitude. Surely there is a room for this, but maybe they were never taught. Maybe they never experienced it. Maybe it was never needed, or may they had a work culture which was easy work culture, or maybe there was a work commitment which was not that challenging enough. Maybe for the first time, my capabilities are tested. Maybe for the first time, I'm exposed to something which is beyond my natural capacity as an employee. So then there will be
True.
excuses and
Mm.
justification explanations. We are talking about a generation now. See, the people who are leading the fresh hires, they come from a different generation. The people who are joining the workforce, they come from a different generation. So the kind of exposure of grit and courage and the will and the hard work, maybe the seniors have been exposed. New freshers may not have an idea about it. fast because everything was made available comparatively easily. There was not much need to develop skills or muscles of resilience, maybe fight against the adversity. So there was no culture of instant gratification for many of the leaders who are into leadership positions.
Right,
But right
right,
now, we are so protective of our children. We are so protective of even students, even everybody, right? It's very safe. It's very convenient. If not this job, then that job. If not that job, then that job. They're just jumping and hopping around here and there because they do not see much of a scope. So I think there is a room for both parties to grow in the leadership stature for the employee, even more for the employer, that I'm not able to handle a specific type of person. The reason is I don't approve his behavior. Well, that's my problem as a leader. That's not the problem of the employee. See, I can handle the people which are approved according to my leadership style. How do I handle somebody who's speedy? I'm not a speedy person. How do I
right,
handle somebody who is a fast thinker? I'm a slow thinker.
right.
So maybe the current generation, they are speedy, fast, tech savvy. They can't wait. They
Mm,
are not happy with the discomfort. A little bit of concern, maybe a stronger feedback. They don't listen to anybody. They don't want to
mm,
listen to you as well. So
mm.
somewhere it should not be one size fits all. I need to develop and grow as a leader. And it's not a complaint. It's not a problem. It's not a lag. I would say it's an opportunity. Can I work with such kind of a person who is totally opposite to my value and belief system? Even in some of the companies I've found, it's sad. Sometimes it becomes a personal ego issue for the leader. People will be different, and we need different people. They bring creativity, they bring new energy. We need not to replicate people like us. We should be in a leadership position to take benefit from different people who think differently than us and not get offended as a leader. At the same time, can I include them as well under my fold, and my team can become a good performing team? I think it's a leadership area as well. Employee, even for the employer, I think HR can surely, and they are playing a beautiful. I think the companies are surviving and thriving because the HR has a great role to play. So if they can work with the team lead, with the employee, then the competencies of HR can greatly help actually.
Very nice point, Dr. Vikram. So here you're talking about leadership revolution, whereof I think the mindset has to change from both sides, right? Employee as
Yes,
well as employer, because I see that both are suffering. See
both
the
are suffering.
scenario.
Company is suffering.
Companies are
Yeah,
suffering. I can vouch for it that after more than 20 years of this industry experience,
right,
every
sir.
company is looking for talent right now, and none of the organization is able to fulfill their 100% open roles, right?
Yeah, the question is the one who has invested everything into the company. He's asking, how long can I keep hiring different people for the same position? How long can I keep hiring? How long I should be investing into their training and upskilling and upbringing? And at the end, they are gone and we are looking for a fresh. It's a lot of pain, lots of loss for the company owners
Absolutely.
and everybody in the system.
True. Ultimately, this time, loss of time, effort, money, and frustration to the line managers and leaders. So now there's a lot of work to deliver. There's a lot of good business opportunity, the right team in place, and people they are hiring, they're taking their own sweet time to settle down in the system. And
Yes,
one thing,
yes.
one mindset which I feel the HR leaders and the entrepreneurs and CEOs need to change, that they won't get ready-made team members. They have to really build
They
them.
won't get. They won't get it. That's right, sir.
It's a subjective issue. You can't match apple to apple now. Even one person leaves,
True,
the other person may not be the same,
true,
and that is the big pain.
true,
And because this is a human resources, we are dealing with human resources. Still, the Gen Z pain, right? I could see or observe in the market now. The conditioning starts happening from their homes, as you also said that.
from the
We are
homes.
not
Yes,
able
right,
to
sir.
challenge this job to that job. If you're not able to stretch or not able to struggle or challenge, it's okay, leave the job. The parents are supporting, right? And the same conditioning is some schools or colleges, they are showing them the
True,
big dreams, but the capability of the
true,
people or their skill set is not up to that level, which is developing their will that I am looking for this kind of job or this kind of work environment or this kind of company.
hmm
And ultimately it's not happening and they are jobless. The
true.
unemployability,
I'll share a story.
yeah,
I'll share a story, sir. I know somebody, very talented young man, good thinker, I would say, a wonderful of a guy, and I was sure that he will make a wonderful of an employee wherever he goes. So this person joins a very reputed brand and he starts to work. And I realized that fast forward 1 year, he was off. I was amazed. Why would a company not have somebody like him? Skilled, he has done his master's in business admin, everything is good. he's smart, he's good, he's fast and everything. He has dreams, he's hardworking and everything. But I realized that he lacked some of the soft skills where he messed up and he was not able to fit in the company. After 1 year of training and everything else, the company had to lay him off. The person realized that although he was ready from the college, but he was not really prepared to face the corporate. And the number of people who are messing their careers in their first job is more than people doing in the second or the third one.
Very nice point you have touched upon. Thank you. This is the real pain in the market now, and that's why the attrition is highest from 0 to 2 years or below.
Yes. And you said something very beautiful, sir. They will not get a best fit. They will not get a ready-made employee. Nobody will get it. So I wanted to bring a very important concepts which many corporates have started to use. But sometimes we think these concepts are foreign. They are not foreign. They are very thoughtful. They have been developed because they have been needed. So now this whole arena of executive coaching has come where the leaders need to be trained, where the senior leaders need to be trained, not necessarily the employees at the basic level need to be trained. Even the top leadership is getting coached. So the whole world of coaching is needed so that we are able to accommodate everybody with the change of generation and exposure, different mindset, behaviors, leadership styles, and so much of variety. How can they still continue to work with those people? In my psychotherapeutic practice, what I have found is as a human being, we do not grow. We should grow. We have to grow. And there are people who have grown much. But most of us, we do not grow in our leadership psyche. I would say they do grow in their leadership ladder and their designation, but not necessarily that many of us are growing in our leadership psyche. I have a skill set. I have a specific set of people. This is the kind of people I can work with. This is the kind of people I don't like them. See, these are the kind of people I don't like. I would never be able to benefit by their competences. I would have to ultimately fire them. Now, HR may not have an idea that this specific manager may not like that person because of his leadership limitations. HR may find this person is very well suited, very well competent, and good enough, but it is quite possible that a manager may not be able to cope with such kind of personality, or vice versa. So, when we talk about interview, it is not just about hiring somebody. It has to be if a person is going to be fit for the company or if the company is going to be fit for the person as well. I think our interviewers need to be less formal and more interactive and more honest than it is mechanical. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we shared a very important arena whereof the leadership revolution is required, and executive coaching is the best way to break through the mindset. So that means a person can be a best salesperson, but it does not mean that he can
Yeah.
be a best sales leader or a team leader or a manager, right? And
True.
whereof
Very true, sir.
that's why the diversity and inclusion concept many companies are following
Mhm.
and implementing, whereof
Yes.
they're creating an inclusive culture or participative culture whereof everybody is included. But this mindset breaking takes time, and I still
It
feel,
takes time.
yeah, I still feel that many organizations does not have a proper training programs or a trainers, maybe
Yes.
internal or external,
Yes.
who can help them team building exercise, productivity enhancement exercise, working along with one department to another department, right? Joining hands.
Right,
These
sir.
problems are, I think,
Yeah.
which does not reach to a CEO or a top leader, and it takes a lot of time and then
Yes.
turns into loss of project or business.
Right, that's right, sir. I think it's high time for the corporates in India, for many or the most, I think only few handful of them are able to do a good justice in this area. But I would say it's a high time for many of the corporates in this sector to contrast the cost of losing an employee, hiring him again, training them again, versus the cost of investing into a structure where the employees can be supported, where the leaders can be helped, and some training and development can happen simultaneously. It's high time that somebody has to do that kind of data analysis and maybe pitch it to their senior leadership and say that instead of losing people and investing on retraining and rehiring, why not invest in adding value to the people? Because you can surely get another employee, but you will not get a faithful employee. But an employee will always remember this was the company who taught me life. This was the company who taught me how to conduct myself as an employee, as a peer, as a leader. So I remember all my leadership from this company, not just because they wanted to be directly benefited by me, but they valued me. So I think that's where the whole concept of work culture comes in. The whole concept of employee assistant and employee investment comes into play. And I think this is what people are looking looking for that not only monetary benefits, not only promotional benefits, but they want genuine investment into their life, which sadly family was not able to do. And it's very unfortunate that school and colleges, universities did not bother because of the curriculum to invest into. So who's gonna teach them? So yeah, it can be helpful.
Since you train a lot of corporates and you take a lot of sessions in the companies across India and you have global connections also, I would like to understand what kind of training programs have been helpful for companies to change these scenarios which you are sharing, or maybe a specific set of training if you can name few.
Yes, I would say, sir, on the top of my list, emotional intelligence is really a big one. Especially as you mentioned in today's time, that is least of the interest of anybody, but that's the biggest of the challenge everywhere. So
Right.
emotional intelligence stands at every level, every leadership level. I have known even business owners struggling because they could not take it further. This was
Yes.
beyond their capacities.
Yes.
Able
Hmm.
to be resilient emotionally and feeling and not taking decisions emotionally. And we are taking big decisions of shutting down businesses. So I was hearing one of this friend of mine, he a great developer, and he said the boss did not like that we could not furnish a project in this timeline, and he shut down the whole department.
Very sad.
But there was a need of putting some structure and some system in place.
Hmm.
So it's perfectly okay that there's going to be challenges, but our decisions should not be emotionally driven because it has consequences at all levels. So I would say emotional intelligence is a big one. Then the concept of self is another big one that we are, many of us are very insecure about our identity and we are trying to protect our image. So one has to move beyond image maintenance and management to getting into your identity, which has to be secure. So that is another area. And communication is a big one, sir. No doubt about it. We are saying the right thing, but we are saying it in a wrong way and it does not
Yeah.
communicate our
Right.
communication styles. And surely, I would say a big room for leadership training at different levels. Appropriate trust is a big one. Trust is a big one. Anger management would be required for many. Stress management is a huge one. Some of us may would have to learn a little bit more on the work-life balance so that their mental health will be better. And I think these are some of the topics which are on the topics, and there can be many which can be need specific to a company in the industry structure arrangement or their value systems.
Yeah, I think this is the need of hour because what we observe working with hundreds of companies and corporates across India and work with 100,000 of candidates. Now, post COVID, the workplace culture, work life balance, flexibility,
Yeah,
and my own space, ownership,
yeah.
right?
Ownership is
And
a big one, sir.
yeah, so these are actually become the buzzwords, right? Flexibility and everybody, especially as I said, young professionals, young generation, they look for that kind of
Yes.
weekend off, and
Yeah.
this has really grown. And the organization who have understood this need, these needs of the employees or team, they are really growing. They are really contributing well. But
Yes.
still, I want to
Yes.
understand, according to you, what are the right ingredients to make thriving, growing, and happiness culture in the organization, according to you?
I would say respect is a big one.
Very nice.
Respect is a big one. If we
Mm.
can build a culture of respect and a culture of ownership that does not belong to somebody else, this belongs to all of us as a company. I may have a smaller or a bigger role to play, but I can look into the end-to-end outcomes of the same event. It can save a lot of damage at the process level. So instead of blame shifting, maybe coming to a sense of ownership is a great help. Yes.
So, if I see in last one decade, we have seen that workplace stress, toxic
Yes.
culture, depression,
Yeah.
mental health issues, right? These have really grown. And
Yes,
both
sir.
side, I would say every individual is suffering. And there was a report, there was a research, I think, that shows that 70% of the Indian basically workforce, is suffering from some or other mental health issues or maybe stress or
Yes.
anxiety, various changes in their phase of life, right? Still, the organization are unable to do the preventive measures which need to be taken up. So, what is
True.
your
True.
observation in this direction?
I think that's very valid of a concern, and as a generation, employers struggling like anything. The kind kind of pressures they are having, it's huge. Now, something that has changed medically, globally, psychologically after COVID-19 is our capacity to take stress. And it may look medical, but at the same time, because of the digital exposure, the screen exposure that we have had during the COVID and after that, and it is continuing on the social media, because when an employee is on the social media platform or on the screen for the most of the night, what is happening? His brain is getting rewired in a way to not to take stress. I
Right.
don't like this video, I can skip it. I can switch off to something else. I don't like this series. So the way our brain is actually manipulated by all this digital content that has reduced our capacity to respond to stressful atmosphere. So I'm
Right.
sure companies need to organize workshops on such matters, stresses, anxieties, how to handle this, the origins and how why they're increasing, some of the strategies and the techniques and the tips and best practices. So there's a need. We need to have a new age solutions to these new age problems for
Right.
these
Right.
new
Right.
and fresh employees who are struggling. And it looks like another skill issue,
Hmm.
a different kind
Yes.
of a skill.
Right.
What we are saying is a will issue is a different kind of a skill which is lacking, which was never needed. Now,
Hmm.
after I have joined a company which is challenging enough and is ambitious enough, they are telling me, sir, you got to learn this as well. And I don't know how to do. I do not have a point of reference in my growing up. I do not know how to handle it. So I'm going to be experimenting it for the first time. The stress, the resistance, the delay. So it's like that we are dealing with a different generation and it's going to change in a couple of years.
So we
The
need
next
new way of
generation is going to new ways, new
new
ways.
ways of dealing with them. Huh?
Yeah. So instead of taking a toll on internal issues within the company or taking a toll on the losing our employees, hiring them
Hmm.
again, training them again, and then seeing them they set through and then trusting everything will go well.
Yeah.
Instead of that, we need to bring new age solutions of employee assistant programs, support programs, training, interventions, counselings, sensitizations, awarenesses. Now, this was the reason West started to respond to these needs pretty early than
Yes.
Indian
Early.
market. Now, we have
Hmm.
surely taken that approach to our country because the global standards were required. But the business leaders and the senior leaders need to understand why they have done it, why they're talking about mental health, not for the sake of doing a program, but it has real application to not just do an event, but to see that event goes down to the participants. And there's a follow up to that. And there is a impact study done on that. And there is a assessment done on that. And it has to be custom made. So I think those things are required. Surely new age solutions for new age problems.
I strongly feel, Dr. Vikram, these are must for every organization, whether it is a micro, medium, small,
Yes,
mid-size, large. I think because ultimately it is to deal with the every single individual, and that single individual is
true.
creating an impact in that particular department or a function, which ultimately impacting the entire organization, right? Like organization built
Entire
made of
organization.
all the function, yeah, and that's so
So,
beautiful.
so look at it. How many people are struggling, right? From the top till the bottom. Everybody's struggling.
Yes, yes, and
And this is
we
adding stress.
And this is the reason the loss of productivity is there in today's work environment, where companies are really struggling. So, but another question I would like to ask that especially from the employee side, or maybe all the people who are working in the organization, the change of phases in the life, right? For an example, somebody is in
Yeah.
a maternity leave, trying to come back to the organization. Someone was on sabbatical, or a loss of a
Yes.
near and dear family member. It is very difficult
Yeah.
to cop up for some people. Some can bounce back
True.
so quickly. Some can really be
Others cannot.
come over. Others cannot,
Right.
right? And how to deal with that? And ultimately, that's where the stress, that's where the anxiety and the depression starts happening. Or for
Yes.
someone dealing with a difficult boss is a challenge. For someone maybe relocating to a different place, is challenge. For
Mm-hmm.
someone
Mm-hmm.
losing job after 40, it's very difficult to find a job after 40 years in India. I'm
True.
very, very upfront in this
True.
part. And getting a job
Mm-hmm.
after 40 and relocating far away from the family, and that's causing another anxiety and stress to the
And the
person.
stress.
How to
Right.
address these issues? These are actually a real concern.
These are real concerns, and this is damaging everybody,
Yes.
especially employee, because now, right now, it's okay, but fast forward, as you said, after 40s. what's going to happen to my corporate career, because
Yes.
company do not see me as a stable person because they look at my
Yeah.
work history. I'm always hopping. So HR is
Hmm.
asking, everything is okay with you, but you're not stable. And then some stories
Yeah.
cooked up. But HR people know what is happening actually. So now this is the reason that there is a need of an employee assistant framework in every company. So there are different levels to this. See, team leads and HRs are not necessarily prepared and trained to handle everything.
Very
They have
right.
so
You have.
much they have so much on their platter. Their plate is full.
Yes. Hmm.
And they're human beings. When it comes to HR, we expect HR को सब करना चाहिए. HR has to do everything. It's like Anna, she has a magic wand
Not
because she can
possible.
speak softly,
Yeah.
communicate well, but everybody's thinking, employee, managers, bosses, that she will do something and all the world problems will go away. Come on, she's a human being. He's a human being.
Absolutely.
They
Absolutely.
have
Yeah.
the capacities and calibers, but there are limitations to this
Hmm.
because HRs are very alone in this work. First of all, they are
Hmm.
the one who are hiring. They are
Yeah.
the one who are hiring. And at the end, they are the one who are firing. And they are the one who are rehiring. It's painful. It's painful for them. How would they get a sense of satisfaction when their hired person is no longer person able to perform on the floor? So it's very challenging for them. So I think there's a need, especially for the HRs, to be equipped with the tools about how to spot people who are having some of the behavioral issues. And there are tools. In therapy, we can peek into a person, we can understand okay what is happening. And a simple statement can give a lot of insight into a person. And there are a lot of projection models that we use. So I would say HR people need to be trained. They need to be equipped.
So you were sharing about
Yes, sir.
the change one has to adopt and in the organization in HR. You can
यस,
please.
मैं तो कहूंगा सर सबसे पहले तो एचआर वालों को बचाओ, उनकी जान बचाओ किसी तरह से,
Right,
उनको
right.
थोड़ा सपोर्ट करें बिकॉज सारे का सारा वर्कलोड ना एचआर के ऊपर है.
Hmm.
They have to do everything. They have to fix every problem of everyone. And they are not psychologists. They are not professionals. But they are doing the most of the jobs, right? And they are made to face everything. Hiring भी उनको करनी है, firing भी उनको करनी है. Even जो warning letter है, they are the one who have to issue. So they get all the grunt. They get all the brunt, right? So there
Yes,
is a
yes.
need for HR people to be equipped, strengthened, encouraged, motivated, even resourced with some of the tools and the techniques so that they can do a good screening of the employees, surely, and
Hmm.
then they are able to even help the team leads, very much needed. Also, they should be taught these basic skills how to facilitate a mediation and negotiation between the two parties. Also, they can do a lot of work within a company which outsiders cannot do because they're present there 7 days a week. In
Hmm.
addition to this, there has to be an arrangement and a work culture where mental health, employee assistance, leadership training, coaching, counseling, and in some cases, when there is, as you mentioned, the death of a loved one, loss of a loved, maybe a
Hmm.
divorce situation, or maybe death of somebody, or maybe an
Right.
abortion, anything of that sort, right? These are
Yeah.
painful events. Not everybody is in a condition to support with the grieving process. So one
Right.
can lose very genuine, very sincere, very skilled people with good will as well, with good attitude as well. They may lose them because the company was not able to support them during their grieving process. So there
Hmm.
has to be an arrangement that can there be a panel, there be a portal, there can be a counselor on call whom the employee can be referred during these difficult moments, because employee will not think on those lines, but a company can say we understand you're going through a difficult phase of your life, and as a good gesture we want to recommend that why don't you speak to this of the person. He's a trusted person and it will be helpful. Now company can pay for the charges, that's a great gesture, or company can share for the charges, that is also very well helpful, or they can just facilitate the whole arrangement. Even that will be very, very appreciable by the employee. But this shows a sense of concern during those difficult moments and all.
I completely agree with you, and the kind of workplace issues which we are witnessing and the reason of leaving the candidates are mentioning today, they are growing in the variety day by day, right? So earlier we used to hear only one thing that I'm leaving for a growth or change.
Mhm.
I am given a lot in
Yeah.
the organization. But now the every petty issue,
Yes.
one can leave on an issue where one is not liking the cooling temperature in the organization and leaving on this ground. Can you imagine? These kind of incidents are also happening.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
as you rightly said, the kind of generation we are dealing
Gen
with,
Z.
which
This is
Gen
Gen
Z,
Z.
it's not Gen
Yeah.
Z, but rather I would say the change the
Hmm.
workplace and environment are going through. The definition of well-being, the definition of employee care has changed. And
Yes.
whatever the HR leader have studied from the college, school, or top B school
Mm.
may require an upgradation at a human level, at a
Yes.
compassion level,
Yes.
at a care level, right?
Yes.
And also the other side, their CEO, their leaders should also give that flexibility that so that they can
Yes.
freely perform this kind of counseling, this kind of initiative which is required to
Yes.
take care of the lives in the organization. Because what I see, the majority of the organization having one or two HR, they are doing the all kind of jobs, right? Starting
All
from
kinds
hiring
of
till
job.
firing, and the engagement and counseling and one-on-one interaction requires a lot of effort, knowledge, and one should be
Yes.
well equipped with that. Then only one can
Yes.
pursue
And
this.
and HR is the same person who has to hold the events as well, company events.
Yes, yes. Jack of all
It's
trade, and
everything.
yeah, and then they are doing
Yeah, they have to do
their
it
very
all.
best. But rather, even I would say the some of the HR are not well equipped, but the company's owner, business owner, or a CEO or a director should take the
Mm.
lead in uplifting or upgrading them, helping them so that the HR can be
True.
empowered with the right training, right
True.
skill set, or an external trainer like you, external coach like you, who should come on the board and can really guide the organization reach to the next level. Yeah.
And that was the reason I said कि HR वालों को बचाओ. We have to save HR people, and then the company owners, senior managements can come with such kind of flexibilities and empowerment to the HR so that they can function better. They are the one who can save the whole crisis. They can save the company from big crisis. And this is what they do. They have been doing it daily. If companies are functioning, they're functioning because of HR. I have heard lesser people saying we are leaving because of the HR.
But
They
HR is
say
not
people don't
only
leave
at fault.
companies. Yes, they say like people don't leave companies, they leave their bosses. Why they're leaving their bosses?
Hmm.
So maybe there's a lot that can be done at all levels, and everybody has to take a sense of ownership, beginning from the top to the bottom, and see that it becomes a functional arrangement. And in today's time, we surely need new age solutions to these problems, and a lot can be done.
Right. I feel, I remember a decade back, almost 10 years ago, one of the client we were working for, and they were looking for a psychologist on the panel, right? As an organization
Hmm.
in India, it was a US company. And I was so surprised. And then I realized that this is a need of an hour where every organization should have a psychologist or psychotherapist on a panel so that which can
Yes,
really contribute to enhancing their productivity and growth. Because every
right.
entrepreneur, every CEO wants to build a high performing company or team, right? So I think whatever we discussed today, these all are the ingredients to develop or make a high performing team.
And also, I think there is a big need about the mindset of the whole concept of conducting a business as a leader is
Yes.
that we can get a replacement. We can get a replacement, but getting a replacement is not easy. So, do we have an approach that we can get a replacement? Or do we have an approach that our employees are our assets and we're going to invest into this? I know some companies, sir, and you might have come across many of them. It's a total shift now where companies are saying that our employees are our greatest assets. We remember customers were always the assets, but now even employees are the assets because they are the one who are representing the company and they have all the skills in the set and they have actually harnessed the best of the company. So we must be able to retain that talent not by just simple but a genuine investment into their life,
Hmm.
a structure, a system, a work culture. Many a time it is the work culture of a leader which is actually hindering the growth of the company.
Top to down
Because
approach.
this is what true. This is हमारे टाइम में ऐसे होता था. This is how things were in our days. No, those times are gone. With all respect, now
Yes.
we would have to improvise. When I was working as a team lead, this is used to happen. Why this team lead can't do? Those were different challenges and times. See, the world should not function according to me. I should have a leadership structure where I should be able to harness the best of the talent. See, the talent available now is crazy. The talent available today is crazy, but we are not able to harness it. We are not able to retain it. We are not
Absolutely
able
true.
to offer them a work culture where a company can be benefited by their speed, swiftness, their IQs, their AI, ML, and the kind of intensity they have, the speed they have is amazing. So we have a lot of good age-old traditional good giftings that has to be matched with today's time, and see a combination can really set for a good and successful company or a business.
Right, that means that every level one need coaching, whether it's a CEO, director, or a person who is heading till the
Yes,
down level, all the
yes.
employees and team members. Yeah,
So maybe a specific ladder would require a coaching, a specific middle management may require a coaching along with the counseling, and for a specific behavior which is actually holding the growth of everybody else, one may need a therapeutic intervention, and the rest of the people may require a seminar or awareness. Maybe based on the product. So we are doing sometime the kind of training which companies are doing is how to increase our productivity. Well, that's a very important subject, but it has
right,
a lot of sub levels to this. So not every training has to give you direct benefit. Some of the trainings have to give you indirect benefit more powerful than the direct benefits. So one has to be very open minded that I should not be doing a training for the sake of doing a training, but how can this training really benefit my company, my employees, my focus group, and how can it really change the whole the experience for everybody? So a training event has to be very thoughtfully designed, well surveyed to the need. So there has to be pre-assessment done with the trainer, external or internal, that this is what we want. Why do we want it? Is it worth it or not? Or let's cancel it. Maybe do this thing as well. So one has to be actively engaged into these kinds of interventions and arrangements.
right. So unique, every organization has a unique problem and there has to be a unique solution, need to be designed, right?
Yes.
Need to be well
Yes.
thought. But one aspect which becomes a barrier to it is, whatever we discussed today, emotional well-being, taking care of the employees, supporting in the changing scenarios of life and phases, right? Big organizations, the big four or top 10 world's
Mm,
largest companies, India's largest
right.
companies, they can afford that. But how about the micro, small MSMEs who are really struggling to build their organization, to attract talent? They are working on one side on the employer building, employer branding, and then the business building, attracting clients. But one aspect of team, they always struggle, right? And
Yes.
but when it comes
Yes.
to introducing or talking about these training, I would say 0.1% organization they are really serious about it. If I
That's right, sir.
share a broad ratio, right, as per my limited knowledge, and when it comes to the cost, they feel it's a big investment. So, but
Mm,
what I learned from you today is that ultimately that is the only reason they are not able to attract and retain talent, which is a big concern.
true.
Attrition. Obviously, mindset polishing is a ongoing process.
Yes. My encouragement is it's true that maybe the big corporates can afford it or they have a handsome amount of budget for this. But there's no need that we have to call the biggest of the shot and do a motivational talk. There's no need to do that, right? And there's no need
Right.
that the company has to go to a 4, 5 star setting and take
Hmm.
a con. No, 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 no. You can do it in the same conference room with the limited number of people, with having a resource person who can actually help. And see, the whole idea is not about how big we do it. No, the idea is that we can start small according to our need, which we need. See, a small company has a small need, a big company has a big need.
True. Right.
A small company need a small budget, a big company need a big budget. So even a small company can afford a small intervention and they can begin from somewhere. So they have surely allocated budgets for everything, be it their facilities, whatnot, infras, and everything. They have budgets assigned for everything. They do have budget assigned even for training and development as well. They need to assign maybe a portion of that budget also to employee well-being and building a stronger corporate work culture so that we are not actually paying on the talent loss and the training, whatever we are doing. So drainage should be able to be avoided. So it looks like it's gonna be another expense. No, you can always kind of play with the different buckets. It's a matter of kind of adjusting your funds. It has to do with strategic planning, I would say. And as people are understanding the damage, the loss, the cost of this, so I'm sure they can really find some solution to this. So my encouragement is start small and see that how it benefit you. And if it benefits you, then it's not a cost. If it doesn't benefit you, it is definitely a cost.
Cost.
We do purchase everything which doesn't damage, which doesn't cost us. We are ready to pay a price for anything which is benefiting us. But if a program does not benefit me, it's a cost. So I would say instead of a cost, we should understand this as an investment. So a small company can do a small investment and save a lot of cost by doing this.
Yes, budget can be allocated and good training program should be organized considering the level of the organization and the need of the organization. And I'm sure the way you have shared definitely will help the organization out. And another question I have is about I interact with many CEOs, directors, and MDs of the organization. One pain which they share is the roadblock at their old leadership team level that they are not able to move forward, right? The old employees or old team members are not coping up with the new change or the new team, new generation or the new thought process, and it becomes a roadblock in the growth of the organization. A CEO wants the organization to the next level, whereof the top leadership team or people who are old in the system, they are kind of become a still water. So how to deal with this
Mhm.
kind of situation, or how you have dealt or suggested to the top leaders and the
This
CEOs?
this is surely challenging. This is surely challenging because once you are seasoned in the system, then you are like, you know it all. And there's no doubt you know the whole process, you know the whole system, you know how everybody functions, right? See, problem happens when top leadership says, now this is what we wish to achieve. See, when a new vision is added, when a new emphasis is added, then old people are saying, what was the need? Because my salary is not increasing, my benefits are not increasing because of this new change. But they may not be able to understand this new change is necessary for the well-being and safety and future of organization. They have to stay in tune with the latest technologies, developments, advancements, and whatnot, right? So I think how a new vision has to be introduced into a company that can be supported, how a change process has to be implemented that can be supported, because just because this is what boss wants, new people will be okay with the challenges, but not people who are settled will be very happy. I mean, nahi, what is this new buzz all about? Unnecessary buzz all about. See, a business leader has to take the shots. They have to really see, okay, the new thing. What can benefit more? What can actually benefit everybody, our clients, our employees, our company, our future, our profits and everything. So they're always coming with new ideas. But how that idea is rolled across, how that is implemented, it's gonna be something that can be supported, taught, and trained as well. And this is where the training of the senior leadership is important. That how do you implement a newer vision? So there comes a very strong questions, a sense of meaning. Why I am working in this company for a specific amount of paycheck that I get, or is it greater than that? Because many of the business owners, they are not just working for profits. It's more than money. It's more than just because sometimes having the company roll through is also a prestige issue. It's important. Sometimes they have to protect the company that it able to break even through the expenses and whatnot. So they have to always come with creative ideas and all. So I would say the leadership who's gonna implement those ideas after the visionary have imparted in a board meeting, that's gonna be something which should become a part of training.
Yes, you're rightly said, because if you see the organization which has grown, they are being biggest contribution was of their leadership team. The founder and
Yes,
the MD or the CEO have shown the vision, but ultimately the leadership team have worked on that. And if leadership team
yes,
is stuck, they are still stuck within the old ways of working, the organization will be standstill.
true,
Yeah.
true.
So
And the results are not enough.
yes, right.
And this is the reason, sir, that I did mention there is a need of intervention at all levels.
All level.
We may think we may think that only the bottom line need an intervention. No, I would
No, no,
say
no. Every level.
every
Every
level
level.
need a different kind of intervention,
Hmm.
and that improvisation, that equipment and empowerment has to happen at different levels. So
True.
one can structure a program at a leadership level, and one can structure a program at an executive level, and one can structure a program at a top leadership level. So one has to be brought to this awareness that if we have to survive our businesses in today's times and world, we would have to equip ourselves not only with the basic qualifications or the technical skills or the hard skills that we call. We may have to really train our employees with a lot of soft skills and the leadership skills. Something which has not been taught for most of them in the homes or in the school, colleges, or universities. They were told you study well, you get good grades, you will get a job. They were told you do these things and you pass these tests and exams and do this intern and you'll get a job. And somehow they have been able to crack an interview, but that's not the end of the world. So I would say a qualification can get you into the system, into the corporate, but it's going to be your soft skills, leaderships, your mental health, your well-being, your attitude, your will, I would say. That's going to really help you sail through that corporate ladder and be an asset for a company, which company would not afford to lose you.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
nice. This is so empowering, Dr. Vikram. One last question, if you can briefly explain about there is a thin line between burnout and stretching yourself, right? It means different to a different person. For an example,
It's very relative.
a middle-aged resource between age of 35 to 45 may like to stretch or may not call it burnout. Even it takes 1 year in the same kind of pattern, same work timing, coming late
Hmm.
at home, right? Or Monday to Friday, and then Saturday also coming on the calls. But a young professional, a young age Gen Z or a I would say millennial, he may feel or she may feel that boss, this is actually burnout. I'm not getting my own time. I'm not having work-life balance. And they may speak up quickly, So, but ultimately,
Hmm.
what is your take on this?
So I remember when I was a child, there came a movie, name was Sholay, and it was a 3 hour movie. We have not known any movie with such kind of a duration length.
Yeah,
And watching this movie was not easy. Fast forward, movies became 1 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 80 minutes. Fast forward, we came to YouTube world of videos of 20, 30, 40 minutes, 1 hour, right? Fast forward, we come to social media and we are amazed to the length of the videos that are acceptable now. It has gone
30
to
second
seconds now,
max.
sir.
30-second max.
It's gone to
Just attention
seconds now.
span.
How is it possible? It's so difficult for me. And I was convinced this is how the world is changing. But I was shocked when the Netflix rolled down the series concept, a web series. Oh God, they have changed the whole scenario. See, it has to do with somebody who can think creatively. It has to do with somebody who knows how to put the power in the user's hand. In our context, in a employee's hand, because even the current generation can watch Game of Thrones, which is, I don't know, never ending. Who cannot watch maybe more than 30 seconds, as you rightly said.
Yeah.
It needs somebody with a creative mind who is secure enough to give the power into employees' hand and still able to drive things to a direction which is amazingly performing. So I would say it has to do with a leadership structure where one has to learn and understand that this specific person is gonna burn out at this level. This specific person can be stressed to this level. It's very relative. So you would have to be very, very sensitive. It's not one size fit all as a leader. You would have to see this person can do this happily. This person can do that happily, but he will be very unhappy in this setting. So it has to do with resource management and utilization. Why would an employee be interested or excited to turn up to office every Monday after he had quite a fun on a weekend? See,
Right.
you have to offer that sort of motivation, which is more than a paycheck.
Non-financial
There's a
motivation, huh?
limited amount of monetary benefit that any company can offer any employee for the rest of the life. Even a person is paid 10 times higher than the normal thing because you greatly value them. After that time, they say the 10 time is not enough. That's human.
Yes. Yes.
So, and then they says, although there is enough money, but I'm looking for something more than money. And maybe I thought all they need is money. No. So we have to understand this new generation is not only looking for money, they are looking for a meaning as well. They
Yes.
are looking for a good temperature as well, as you rightly pointed, sir. And they are looking for respect as well, as we've been talking. They are looking for empowerment as well. They are looking for skill building as well. They are looking for sense of belongingness as well. They are looking for that I'm able to contribute. They are looking for I'm heard. It's not autocratic.
Yes.
It's democratic. My opinion matters. I can contribute to the system. See, I have great desire to do something in life. And this is the platform where I will be heard, where I'm not judged, where I'm not blamed for everything. And I've been taught to take ownership. I'm not forced to take ownership. I'm not penalized on something. I'm trained and equipped how to not repeat that thing. The whole approach of the leadership is very, very empowering. So, what kind of work culture is made available? It's very subjective to a leadership mindset, which need to definitely, as you rightly said, word updated, not changed, but surely updated. So my phone is good, but iPhone is sending an updation. but I don't need an updation. It's wiser to take an updation because the softwares that are coming now, the apps that are not coming now, they will not be very compatible with the old update.
Or
Likewise,
old hardware.
this
Yeah.
new old hardware.
Hmm.
So they are not changing your iPhone every week or every month or every 6 months, but they're changing their software and updates. So leaders can stay functional, but they would have to continue to update themselves at leadership level. So one can be very, very informed about how different generation functions, how an old employee will function, how a fresh employee will function, how a person with this kind of personality or this kind of leadership style or attitude would function, and how would somebody not? How somebody with this kind of value and belief system would function, and how a person of this kind of a temperament would get tipped off on this thing. So that kind of alertness, awareness, sensitivity will greatly expand your leadership caliber and you will be able to function with a variety of people. So I can stay within my clan, but one has to learn to collaborate and coordinate. So this is also a very powerful subject of collaboration and synchronization, which leadership need to learn. So when I do like senior manager training, this is one of the subject that we focus upon. How do we collaborate? I'm good, but they are also good. But मेरी बनती नहीं है. मेरी they're not my type. So as you
Yes.
said, different type hai, but still how we can function together under one umbrella without feeling offended. So one has to be trained and exposed to that.
Right. That's a very amazing aspect you have shared. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, listening to you and understanding about how the human aspect works, that no psychometric test or no interview style can predict how long who is going to work in which organization. There are many aspects, there
Yes.
are many areas which
Yes.
we need to be taken care of, right? From especially related to
Yes.
psychology of a human being or psychology of an employee or team
Yeah.
member, right? Starting from his well-being, workplace culture, how you're caring for the person, how you're helping it to adjust, and same to the other side also, employee and team member
Right,
also,
sir.
that one has to be
Yeah.
resilient, one has to really accommodate, one has to change one's own way of learning and
Flexible
unlearning, right, and relearning. Then only you
learning.
can
Yeah.
accommodate in the organization. And employer
Yes.
side, employer has to accept that. So the both has to evolve, both has to really come closure, both has to change. Then only we can create a thriving, high performing workplaces in India,
Yes.
and
Yes.
India's
Yes.
economy can really grow like the Modi ji said,
Right.
5 trillion and beyond.
Yes, yes. And there's another aspect I wanted to highlight. And because in my practice, I observe a lot of things. See, some of the employees are not cut for jobs. I know it's a very hard statement. Some of the
Okay.
employees are not cut for job. They have always dreamed, especially with this current generation, they have always dreamed to be business owners,
Hmm.
entrepreneurs, and not be a salaried employee. This may not come as a very happy statement, but that's the truth. But now, problem is not that they're not cut for the job. The problem is they're still appearing for a job interview.
Maybe shift cap arrangement. Maybe for some time they are
Yeah.
arranging funding. Or
Yes, yes, that's the truth. So, one who is having such kind of a mindset and such kind of goal, very well. But the employee has to understand that before they become a good business leader, they have to become a good employee. See, we
right.
just want to become a business leader somehow, get some money. No, you will not be able to be a good one. And I've seen such people struggling in their businesses and
They take erratic decisions, and
not able to.
like you mentioned in the
True,
beginning,
true.
shutting down the business. Just the project lines are not being met. Yeah.
So you want to be business leader, you want to be business owner, you want to be entrepreneur. Great.
Hmm.
Go get a job.
Hmm.
See how it is done. Just
Hmm.
learn it and do it well. Do it well. Only somebody who has been a good employee will be a good employer. It's not a straight jump. It's definitely a process. So
Right.
this can be the mindset of employee. Okay, I have to become a business leader. I'll start maybe my own IT company. Oh, great. You should. But okay, join an IT company and spend a couple of years and do well, exceed well, and just outgrow your capacity. Let them know you are one of the best resource. They
True.
won't mind having you as a partner tomorrow.
Yes.
They may want to
Definitely.
collaborate with you.
I've seen a
It's
lot of
gonna
people,
be
a lot of organizations offering the same
true.
kind of arrangement to employees.
Do that's true. So we have been told and sold a dream which is not realistic on YouTube and nowadays on Insta. And many of the coaching industries are actually selling a dream which is not very much realistic. It's one thing to sell a dream or a business model. It's another thing to do a business. Go and talk to a business owner and they will tell you the real stories. Or maybe be a part of a business and experiment and you will have a good experience. This is how it is. At the same time, even the person who is hiring also need to understand this person is not cut necessarily for job. He has great aspirations and definitely great skills and great talent as well. Sure, but they can help the person. Okay, you may wanna work for 3 years. Okay, so we do a contract for 1 year. We do not do a contract for 10 years. But can that 1 year be profitable for the company as well as the employee of a level that there is no regret at the either end? And can it be so beautifully done by both parties that they don't mind extending it for a couple of more years if they wish to mutually? Something which companies are not doing, in my knowledge, is there's a great hiring process and contract progress process. But when the end of the term, see, this contract never ends. I would encourage if companies can have a practice every at the end of every year, let the employee and the HR sit together. Okay, it's been a year, how it was. Do you wanna work forward or you wanna close here?
Mm.
So company has to come. Are you interested? Are you still interested? Are you still excited enough to go forward to the next level, next ladder, next position, next opportunity, next challenge? Or you think you're done? ये आपका हमारे साथ नहीं हो सकता है. So that
Mm.
kind of honest talk have to happen within the company once hired, and there is no
Looking
attention
back or
given, taken for
checking back.
granted, no looking back,
Mm.
no checking back.
Mm.
And the employees waiting. If I get a good appraisal and raise, I'm
Raise.
happy. Otherwise,
I'll
I'm not
stay.
interested. See, we have to set the expectations right. Financial, and there are many other aspects to this. So what I'm saying,
Non-financials.
there's a lot of room for employees, leaders, and HR personnel to work as a team and see a company is safe in their hands. Because the
Hmm.
business owner is just looking, what's going to happen to my company? He's
Right.
just at the mercy of the will of somebody who has been tipped and triggered because somebody did not pay attention.
True. That means the HR should be courageous enough to put this forward to the business leaders that now for this transition we need to adopt these kind of processes or systems
Yes,
so that
yes,
the way you shared that after 1 year checking that the employee or team member is he really excited enough to continue with us? Is he having that kind of energy, creativity, or will to continue with us? Not just financial, but the non-financial front. What else he's looking or she's looking? What kind of culture he wants
yes,
to see in the organization and where he can participate also to build that culture. That's also a joint
yes.
responsibility. I would say
A
growth in
joint.
the organization is a joint responsibility. It's not only
It's a
employer,
joint
not
venture.
only the company, it is
True.
employee also. Yeah. Both has to work
Yes.
hand in hand.
They have to work together. It's not an easy task. And I think this is where you brought us such an important point that maybe our HR professionals, they were trained well, but the times have changed and there's a need to do some sort of upskilling and updation so that they can attend to the child because they are the one who are bleeding. HR are the people who are bleeding and everybody is
Yes,
suffering.
they are the one who has a lot of pressure, tremendous pressure of hiring, retaining, or engaging, or these are they are facing a lot. No, it's not. This is a high pressure job. It's as
And I
pressurizing
would
as
say
sales.
anybody, and I would say the mental health of HR is not in a good shape, sir. I go to
Certainly.
organizations to do a mental health workshop
Mhm.
for the company, maybe executive levels or the senior managers, and I see the one who's utterly exhausted is the HR. And during the event, they are not even able to sit properly because they have so much to attend.
Bad.
So HR need a lot of empowerment, lot of freedom and equipment, and maybe your company can host a program like where the HRs can come and there can be a very open floor and dialogue about the HR, their challenges, and what are the solutions available and the best practices and how to handle current situation and the generation and the challenges we have. So maybe you are positioned so strategically, you can maybe host a program like this, and I think that can be very helpful.
Certainly, Dr. Vikram, thank you very, very much. I think it was really interesting, empowering discussion with you, and this subject is really close to my heart because I see every day my team member talks about people who are the candidates, and they have this variety of issues and challenges, and then I connect with the business leaders and the HR leaders, and when they share about the concern and pain, I feel that as a
Yes.
middleman, as a catalyst, what is my responsibility, how
Right.
can I bridge this gap, right? Because ultimately both sides are suffering and both sides needs improvement. Yeah? And
They are
I'm sure
important.
the wisdom which you share today will surely help me and a lot of people out in the market and the industry, whereof they will be able to adopt small things and small changes, and both sides, right? And can become a happy workplace and the happy culture, the happiness culture which we need to develop, like the Western country, as
Yes.
you mentioned, the developed countries.
Yes.